Save the Semantics, episode 94. It is December 10, 2019. My name is Myro. This is the podcast with no real sense of direction. So you could say that about basically any podcast, really, without any specific theme or anything like that. Not really an interview type of podcast or anything like that. It's just me rambling about things that have and may happen in the future in my life. It's centered around me. It's me. All right. What the hell has been going on? Classes have ended. I just finished up my finals yesterday, which is nice. The only thing I got remaining is an essay, which is due the end of this week, but I'm not really super worried about that by any means. Everything else seems to be relatively in order. It's pretty chilly out. Just kind of post-rain weather at the moment. This week has been pretty clear for the most part. No rain, which has been nice. Last week it was just raining on and off all week long. So it's been nice. It's a nice change of pace from what it was last week. And now I'm just kind of, just planning to enjoy myself for a month or so, hopefully. I'll be working, I'll be keeping busy and whatnot, but also be able to spend time with friends and whatnot, so that'll be nice. That'll be a nice thing to have for sure. Christmas in a couple of weeks, which is kind of weird to think about. Certainly doesn't feel that way. But decorations are out. The songs are coming in. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it really I think maybe I just don't. When I was younger, I went to department stores and places where the holiday kind of aesthetic was kind of everywhere. But now I'm just kind of I don't go shopping all that much just because I don't really care to buy anything new or anything like that. I go clothes shopping a decent amount of times per year, but not enough to where I see changes in the seasons and whatnot. I did go get myself a new pair of shoes, sort of waterproof shoes, if you will, earlier this month, but other than that, not much. I don't really need to, in a sense. I keep things pretty clean for the most part. I don't ruin my clothes. I try to maintain everything, if you know what I'm saying. Keep my shoes clean. Usually I have my shoes for at least a couple of years and whatnot. I don't really buy shoes all that often either, Shoes are, it's a once in a while thing. I don't have a whole array of shoes like some people do. Not really a sneakerhead. I do appreciate, a good shoe and shoe design and all that kind of things. But in terms of, I don't know, in terms of having a collection and whatnot, I don't know. I feel it's just the whole point of shoes are just for me, it's just they're meant to be worn out in a sense. I think it's because I've gotten used to wearing running shoes over the years, so I'm sort of used to that kind of mentality where it's well, it's gonna wear down eventually, so might as well just wear them in a sense, right? So I don't know. And why have all these shoes just kind of laying around if you're not gonna wear them, unless unless it's for a special occasion for specific types of things. I have enough shoes where it's it's enough for any specific situation, So if it's raining, now I got my waterproof, so-called waterproof shoes. So far it's been good. It's been kept my socks and my feet intact. Keep them stainless. No, keep them warm and not wet I don't know why I can't really think right now. I think it's just because it's cold out. I'm not really used to recording in this weather. It's a bit chilly out. Should have worn an extra layer of clothes, maybe, Myro. Um, what else? I've been watching some anime. Just kind of getting back into it. I've been following on the fourth season of My Hero Academia. It's been pretty good, solid. I think I think it is pretty well done for the most part. Like for like a shonen anime, I think I just have such high standards in comparison to like Hunter x Hunter and stuff like that. So I always have I always kind of have a high expectation of animations and stuff like that. Um, I might get back into Rakugo in a little bit. It was the anime that I was talking about last time. I just sort of have taken a break from it just to focus on school, maybe watch some other things. There hasn't really been anything on Netflix that's really caught my attention. I think that's been the same. It's been the case for a little while now. I haven't really watched anything on there that's really been like, oh, okay, this is engaging and stuff. Like I've said, it's just daunting. It's just seeing all like the number of seasons for each series, and there's just so many of them. It's just like, I'm just gonna play it safe and watch some shit that I've already watched. I think with anime it's a bit easier just because it's like bite-sized episodes, and like also it's a lot more binge worthy as opposed to a lot of TV shows. I think it's just all due to like attention span and stuff. Animation's a lot more colorful, it's a lot more engaging in a sense, right? And with like live action TV, like it's much more down to like the performances, like the body performances, and the acting and stuff like that you kind of have to appreciate in a sense. So yeah, I haven't really engaged with anything recently. And also just like I don't know. Like I said, it's a lot easier just to watch something that you're used to. Like I just end up watching like a bunch of the same clips on YouTube and stuff like that. So it's easier to do that. There's not really a whole lot of expectation in a sense there as well, right? You have this expectation of a thing going the way that you kind of want it to, and then it doesn't. So yeah, that's that. I've what else have I been doing? Not really a whole lot. Just kind of been. It's gonna be interesting. I don't. I mean, I'm still probably gonna do this, but like, just like the act of studying, I guess is a thing that is probably not gonna be. I mean, I'm still gonna be like studying and stuff once I graduate for like my CPA and stuff. If I do continue down that path, which I most likely will, but I'm not gonna be at like the coffee shops anymore doing that kind of thing. Coffee shops or the library studying and whatnot. So I don't know. I was just kind of thinking of that, how sort of like how it's gonna be like a different type of environment now that once I'm not gonna be in school anymore. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting, I guess. It's really not that interesting. I don't know. It was just something that came into mind right now, I guess. And also, I think considering I've been at a single location for all 4 years, like a change of scenery it's gonna be kind of nice as well, right? Yeah, that's gonna be. I mean, I'm still like it's coming up. It's this quarter is done. I have two more. Then I graduate, and then I move on, right? So I'm still kind of like going through the motions, I guess. Of course, I haven't graduated yet, but like just I'm kind of ready to take this next step in a sense, as I've mentioned before. Just a new setting, new stepping stone in a sense. I've been what have I been doing? Not really a whole lot. I've been wanting to like exercise more, but just like the last week or so it's just been raining and stuff, so I haven't really had the time to, and also just because like examinations and stuff like that. I always say this, but this time for next quarter, I really want to set forth like a workout schedule in a sense. Hopefully, it doesn't rain as much, because that would suck if it does, because then like it kind of ruins my plans. I'd much rather be like, doing endurance activities, so running and that kind of thing, outdoors as opposed to indoors. So if it rains, well, that sucks. Looks like I'm getting out of shape again. I'm thinking of like what I'm gonna do once I start a job and that kind of thing. Sort of like my routine for a workout, I guess. I think once I start paying for like I talked to my friend about this, but like I think once I start paying for like a gym membership, I'll be more motivated to actually go to the gym and actually like work out, because like then it's considering you're already paying for a membership, it's like incentivizing you to make the most out of it, right? So you work for what you paid for in a sense. So that'll be interesting. That'll be a bit of a change. I mean, I've gone to like the school gym and that kind of thing, but it's not like on a consistent basis. So maybe I'll get like a trainer or something like that. I don't know. I'm just speculating at this point. So yeah, things to consider. I want to try to travel in a sense, maybe within the next year or so. I mean, we have been kind of thinking of going somewhere, just for like a little short trip, but I don't know. I want to try to go somewhere else as well, on my own. That'd be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of like the first time. I think, well, it would be the first time I would be traveling alone. So I don't know. It's something I want to do before I start kind of kicking things off, right? So that'll be interesting. Maybe just a few days. I don't know. I would have to plan for it. I want to go to like New York. Definitely New York or something like that. What I would do there, I don't really know. But it'll be something for sure. Or maybe one of the other major cities. Maybe like Portland or Seattle or something like that. Maybe somewhere just to take a little trip. Just for myself, I'd want to do something like that. I think it'll be, for one, it'd be easier to plan out, without, no offense to my friends or anything like that, but it'll be easier to plan out just because it's my own schedule and that kind of thing. It's hard not to be like jealous of people that have already like traveled overseas and that kind of thing. I mean, I've been to Japan for like to see my family and that kind of thing, but it's a little different, because it's family. Like it's not like it is a trip, but it's more. It's not really it's not something that you specifically planned out for, in a sense, right? Like I kind of want to set forth my own kind of agenda and my own sort of schedule in a sense. So yeah, no, I want to travel. I mean, who doesn't really want to, right? So maybe that's something that I'll consider, or that's something I'm considering. I just don't know, in terms of like budgeting and everything else involved with that. We'll see how that goes. What else? What else? Chicago. That's another city that I maybe want to travel to. I don't know. I just heard, despite all the, violence and stuff, but I think that really just applies to any major city in the U.S. in general, right? I know Chicago is just more known for that kind of thing with gang violence and that kind of thing, but doesn't mean I don't want to go there. I think there's definitely some places of historical value. There's a huge and culturally relevant like music scene and that kind of thing. So yeah, just some things that I'm kind of spitballing here, and along with that, just I don't know, just seeing things with my own eyes, right? Like you could experiencing things for myself and that kind of thing, as opposed to, I don't know, travel vlogs, right? Of course, you still get to see something, but it's different when you're actually there in person. It's a much different environment. It's much more well, you're there, right? So it's not it's not, you're not seeing it through someone's lens. You're not living like vicariously through someone else. So that's uh that's one of the motivations for travel. I've also thought about what kind of like, you know, things that not just like, not big things, not trips or anything like that, but sort of hobbies, I guess, right? Sort of hobbies that you kind of want to develop. I guess this is a hobby in a sense, even though it's just me just kind of fucking rambling on about nonsense. But I've done radio and that kind of thing. But maybe other things that I want to do when I have the time. I just like that's sort of like my biggest worry concerning going into a full-time position. It's like, how much energy will I have to expend on other activities, other things that I might find valuable or that I might find interesting. Take up a intramural thing. I don't know. Like that's something that I was considering doing during college, was maybe do like a intramural sport or something like that. But I just realized I didn't have the time for that. I think it would just be too much of a commitment. Like athlete, like college athletes already have to deal with a bunch of shit, so it's like, I don't know if on top of that, like, it's just a little different, I guess, to deal with that and academics as well, and even intramural would be a bit too much, I think. So I decided not to pursue it. It might have been fun, but probably taxing, yeah, to an extent. So once things, once I transition to adult life, in a sense, then maybe I can pick up something else. I mean, going to the gym is one thing, I guess, but like another activity as well. Maybe I'll try to get back into like writing and that kind of thing. Whenever I have downtime with my job, or if I just sort of have time to myself, I kind of have been jotting down ideas, not necessarily good ones, but just anything that just comes off the top of my head, just short stories or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe that's something I could try out. Just write out some short stories. My coworker mentioned that during November, I missed it, but like in November, there's like this competition that that sort of that states that you have to try to write a story with like 50,000 words or something like that. I don't know how much that is. Maybe like 10 pages within a month, and then you submit it online, and then the best story wins like a prize or something like that. I mean, it's not really for the monetary gain, I guess. It's just more the fact like you're just trying to like put down as much as you can within a span of a month, like going Stephen King style, right? So I don't know. That seems like a fun thing to try out maybe next year if I have the time. Obviously, I don't know how much energy I can really expand into doing something not incredibly creative, but something like, that requires like creative thought and input. So I don't know, but I have mentioned before that, I wanted to be a writer before, and I used to write short stories and that kind of thing, but maybe I'll try to get back into that. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll write a book. I know that publishing a book is incredibly difficult, especially if you don't have like the accolades or the acclaim or anything like that. Selling it, right? Publishing is one thing. I think selling it is even more difficult. Like the fact that if you can even get an audience to buy your book, right? So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll put up like an ebook version of the book that I will be selling. I have no idea. I'm already saying this like I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do it. Like most of the things I have in mind are not necessarily like set in stone. There's just something that I've thought of doing in the past, like way in the past, but they just kind of come back. It's interesting. It's an interesting time in my life. I think I've been just sort of like reflecting on a lot of things, just because from stage to stage. Like now that I'm like gonna finally be, for the most part, like I think this is sort of like that final step towards completing education. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna, maybe I'll pursue it in the future, but for now, it seems kind of like this is, you're gonna get this degree, and then you're gonna move on to a new thing. So after how many years of school is it? So 12 plus 4. So after 16 years of school, I'm gonna finally be done. So now, there's just gonna be other things that are gonna come up. So I'm just kind of reflecting on all the things that have just happened, I guess, going as far back to like elementary when I was thinking about becoming a writer and that kind of thing. So middle school when I wanted to be like a basketball player. It's kind of it's crazy. It's pretty wild and crazy and in a wacky world, Sort of just things to think about in a sense, right? I think there's like there is a limit to how much I can think back to. I mean, this is just sort of like the idea of you not being able to retain memories after a certain age. So I'd want to try to hold those for as long as I can, which is another reason why I do this. I record this is so I don't lose information. I don't lose sense of myself in a sense, right? Not to get all philosophical, but just to keep an idea, keep a backlog, right? Keep a chronology of sort of like the progression, even if I haven't really progressed all that much within the last couple of years doing this, but just retaining that information, remembering things in a sense, right? Yeah, that's probably going to do it for this episode. It's kind of a weird one. Just kind of for me rambling on about, once again, the past, present, and future. But that's just sort of what's been dwelling on my mind lately. So that's sort of something that I've kind of wanted to get off my chest in a sense. That's going to do it for this episode today. This has been Save the Semantics, signing off.